Welcome to the channel. My name is Matthias. Today we're going to talk about Savage Avengers issues 6 through 10. And this is the second and last story arc of this run, written by David Pepois. The Savage Avengers have abandoned Conan back in the Hyborian Age, and by accident they have jumped to the year 2099. Now, the idea of having a contemporary era Avengers team in 2099 sounds super cool. But the execution of what we get in this series, it took me a while to get through these issues. You get this impression, like during this whole run, that we're getting like a fan fiction. You get a lot of really cool stuff with zero substance. The writer's like, look at this, look at that, look at this. And it's just something you see for one page. It doesn't add to the story. And then the writer will just jump to something else and something else. And also another thing that really bothers me is the exposition that we get throughout this whole story. It's really rough. It's so weird. It's exposition that really doesn't explain anything. It just fills up the page. So the main premise of these issues is that when Conan fought against Deathlock in present-day Marvel, Deathlock had lost one of his arms in combat before they were teleported back to the Hyborian Age. And what happens is Alchemax is able to get their hands on Deathlock's arm. They reverse engineer it. And they're able to create an army of Deathlocks. And the thing is that they're going to be taken over by Ultron, who pretty much takes over the world in the year 2099. So when the Savage Avengers arrive to 2099, they cross paths with Jack Gallows, the Punisher of that time. He's not happy to see a Deathlock. He tries to hunt down the Savage Avengers, but later on, he realizes that they're good guys. They end up teaming up, and then they go and liberate Doom 2099. And here's one of those examples that I mentioned earlier. They liberate Doom 2099. You're going to see him in a couple of panels, but he doesn't really add anything to the story. There's a really cool moment where the Savage Avengers raid this weapon deposit, and they have all this super cool gear. You get a couple money shots, and you think to yourself, okay, they're going to use these weapons for the rest of the story. Literally 2 pages later, they're all gone. Like, for example, Elektra Daredevil finds Archangel's wings, and they look super cool. And she's going to town on the Deathlocks with Archangel's wings, and then she just ditches them. It makes zero sense. Also, the whole story arc where we discover that Deathlock is actually a future version of Miles Morales, that really just doesn't go anywhere. And Ultron is really not interesting in this whole story. Sadly, he is pretty poorly written, and it's a shame because Ultron is one of my favorite villains. And obviously our heroes are going to come out on top, and they return to the present, while Deathlock is going to return to his timeline, where very oddly the Watcher of that reality is going to reverse everything that has been done to Miles and return him back to being normal Miles Morales. And on the last page of the series, we have the Savage Avengers crossing paths with Fin Fang Foom. And well, bam, the series is over. But the thing is that it took me about 2 weeks to get through these issues. It was a chore. So we're going to leave this video here. Hope you guys liked it. See you guys next time. Bye.